Did you know that in 50 years, the time you spend on social media can add up to almost an entire decade? Yes, 9 full years looking at a screen, sliding your finger up, down, side to side, while real life happens right next to you. And here's the question that needs to be asked. What did you get out of it? What exactly did you experience during these years? I'll give you a few seconds to reflect, but I'll warn you, the answer may be uncomfortable. The discomfort comes because this routine already seems normal, doesn't it? Wake up and check notifications. Spend your lunch minutes scrolling through your feed. And before going to sleep, just one more video, just one more post, until you realize you've wasted hours of your day, and what's worse, without noticing that time has passed. And here's the scary thing, the more you try to escape, the more you feel like going back. Why? Because social media was designed for that. They are an invisible trap, and the truth is that we are trapped, but we don't know how to escape. Let's imagine a simple situation. It's a close friend's birthday. What is your first reaction? It's not picking up the phone and calling him or stopping by his house to say, "Congratulations" in person. Your first reaction is to open Instagram, look for an old photo of the two of you, and post a story with a cute text. That's what we've been doing. We celebrate more digitally than physically. Have you ever wondered why? Is it because we really want to honor the person? Or is it because we want others to see that we are good friends? This line is so fine that many of us don't even realize we're crossing it. We stop living real moments with the people who matter to focus on a digital theater, where the real audience is not our friends, but the people who follow us. What about when someone close to you passes away? Something so intimate, so personal, instantly becomes content. You see black and white photos and stories, a caption saying, "I'll miss you," and that's it. It's posted. But do you realize the absurdity of this? Death, which should be a moment of introspection, of reflection between you and your family, has become a public performance. What happened to us? When did all this start to seem normal? Social media has a trick. It convinces us that we need validation. A like here, a comment there, and you feel that micro relief, almost like an invisible hug. But how long does it last? Minutes, maybe seconds, and soon you're back, posting something else, expecting another round of attention. It's a race without a finish line, where you never feel complete, never satisfied. What if you don't post? What happens? This is where the weight of judgment comes in. People notice. If you don't congratulate a friend publicly, they might think you forgot. If you don't share your achievement, it's as if it didn't happen. Digital absence has become synonymous with non-existence. Think about it. When was the last time you celebrated something? Just for you? No photos, no stories, nothing. Just the moment lived by you and no one else. This obsession with validation and appearance is costing us dearly. It's not just time that slips through your fingers. It's life. Moments that could be lived become simple opportunities to post. You go to a restaurant not to taste the food, but to take a photo of the dish. You go to the beach not to listen to the waves, but to take a video of the sunset. Every moment is filtered, tweaked, and shared to seem more interesting than it actually was. Worse still, we are disconnecting from the essentials. How many times have you been in a circle of friends, but everyone was on their cell phone? How many times has a moment of celebration been interrupted by someone saying, "Wait a minute, let me record that"? We are no longer living, we are archiving. But why don't we talk about it? Why do we keep acting like everything is fine? Because admitting we are addicted hurts. Because looking at yourself and realizing that you are trapped in something you have no control over is not easy. And social media is smart. It doesn't tell us we're wrong. They encourage us to continue. New filters, new algorithms, new ways to keep us connected, or rather distracted. But little by little, something inside us begins to notice the emptiness. We begin to feel disconnected, anxious, dissatisfied. And do you know what we do? We open the cell phone to try to alleviate this. It's a never-ending cycle. Imagine for a moment that you decided to put down your cell phone, that you stopped posting about every moment of your life, that you simply lived. It seems strange, doesn't it? Even unthinkable. But why should this be? Wouldn't it be more logical to enjoy time with the people around you, feel the wind on your face, listen to the sounds of the city or nature? Think about it. The time you spend today will never come back. And when you look back, what will you remember? The 30-second videos you watched, the photos you posted, or the moments you actually lived? But don't worry, it's not just your fault. There is an entire system created to keep us exactly where we are, trapped and out of control. Do you want to know how it works, and more importantly, how to escape it? That's what we're going to explore next. This approach connects the viewer emotionally, stimulates reflection, and creates anticipation for the rest of the content. If you need adjustments or want to add something, just let me know. Have you ever noticed how social media has transformed our most intimate connections into something public and superficial? That sincere hug, the eye-to-eye conversation, or even the comfortable silence between friends, all of this seems to be disappearing, giving way to gestures that are not for the people we love, but for an audience that we often don't even know well. Think about it. When was the last time you celebrated a friend's birthday without posting anything about it? It seems almost impossible, doesn't it? Today, the immediate reaction to finding out about someone's birthday is not to call or show up unexpectedly with a gift. No. The first thing we do is look for an old photo, open Instagram or WhatsApp, and write a little text full of emojis, as if that were enough to show how we feel. But is it really? Let's imagine a simple scenario. It's your best friend's birthday. You spend 10 minutes choosing the perfect photo. Write something like, "Congratulations, brother. You are amazing. May God bless you always," and publish in stories. And then, did you really call him? Did you take time to talk, laugh, remember stories, or plan something together? Often the answer is no, because in our heads the public gesture is enough. But what about him? Does this really replace presence, affection, real connection? And now comes the strangest part. What do you feel when that same friend doesn't post anything on your birthday? An emptiness. You start to think, did he forget? Does he not care about me? See how the cycle becomes toxic. We have created a culture where the value of our friendships depends on their visibility online. Now let's move on to something even more delicate. Imagine that someone in your family passed away. It is a moment of pain, a moment to reflect on life and seek strength from those who are by your side. But what do we do today? We took out our cell phone, chose a black and white photo, and wrote something like, "We will miss you. Rest in peace." It seems sincere, and maybe it is, but should this be shared? Does the deepest pain you feel need to be posted? What used to be an intimate moment, a true exchange between you and your family, is now transformed into a spectacle of sadness. And as painful as it may be to admit, this post is often made for people to see and comment, so that you receive messages of support that ultimately only feed the need for validation. What are we really doing with our interactions? Think about Sunday lunches, family gatherings, or get-togethers with friends. How many times were you truly present? And how many times have you spent more time recording the moment than living it? Here's an example that may seem simple but says a lot. The Sunday barbecue. The table is full, the conversation is good, and then someone picks up their cell phone. Suddenly, everyone is taking photos of their dishes, recording stories, or checking notifications. That unique moment, which should be one of connection, is interrupted. And do you know what happens next? You look back and barely remember the conversation you had, but you have dozens of photos saved in your camera roll. What really happened from that day? The answer is deeper than it seems. Social media has taught us that our lives only have value if they are validated by other people. You don't celebrate for yourself, you celebrate to show. You don't buy something because you want it, but because you want others to know that you have it. And the worst part, the more we do this, the emptier we feel, because online recognition is never enough. There will always be someone with more likes, more followers, more apparent achievements. And so we enter a cycle. We publish, wait for approval, feel empty, and publish again. We are trying to fill a hole that cannot be filled like this. What if you didn't post anything else? If you lived the moments without worrying about recording them? Think about the impact of this. You would lose some likes, of course. Perhaps his followers didn't even notice his absence. But for the people who really matter, your friends, your family, yourself, what would change? The answer is simple. Everything. You would reconnect with what is essential. I would learn to live for the moment, not for the audience. You would discover that the best memories are not the ones in your feed, but the ones you hold in your heart. Now is the time to act. Not tomorrow, not next week. Start now. Next time you celebrate something, do it away from social media. Call your friend on his birthday. Spend time with your family without posting about it. Live in the moment. And most importantly, feel the moment. And if you are committed to changing, I want to invite you to do something that will help you and many other people to reflect on this. Subscribe to the channel right now. Leave a like and share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Together we can create a movement to bring back what really matters: real life, true connections, and happiness that doesn't depend on online approval. What are you waiting for? Click now and be part of this change. Have you ever noticed that even when you achieve something you want, that sense of accomplishment seems to evaporate within days or even hours? Why does this happen? Why are we constantly seeking more, even when we already have everything we need? Today, I want you to face an uncomfortable truth. We never feel satisfied because we have been conditioned not to be. Think about it. When you were a child, a bicycle could be the biggest dream of your life. You imagined walking with her, feeling the wind on your face, exploring the neighborhood as if you were an adventurer. So you got the bike. At first it was magical, almost a portal to another world. But over time it became just another object in the backyard. And now what did you want? Maybe a motorbike, then a car. And even when you got the car, the cycle repeated itself. Now you want something better, a luxury car, a bigger house, a more modern cell phone. Stop for a moment and ask yourself, what am I really looking for? It's not just a car, a house, or a cell phone. It's not likes on Instagram or compliments on WhatsApp. What you really want is a feeling, that of being complete, fulfilled, satisfied. But that feeling never comes, because as soon as you achieve something, the focus changes. The market, social networks, and even the comparisons around you make a point of reminding you that you can and should want more. This endless race has a name: the rat race. A cycle that keeps you running, always chasing something that seems within reach, but never actually arrives. But why can't we get out of this? Everything around you is designed to keep you dissatisfied. From the commercials that show you the car of your dreams to the ads that promise a perfect lifestyle, everything works like an invisible but extremely powerful machine. And social networks are the heart of this machine. Think about it. When you see someone posting an achievement, what do you feel? A mixture of joy, admiration, and perhaps a twinge of envy. Why did he make it and I didn't? And then you find yourself thinking about how you can improve, how you can better yourself, how you can get there. It's a cycle that never ends because there will always be someone seemingly one step ahead of you. And here's the scary thing. Even when you get to where you want to be, you don't feel the same as you thought you would. The dream car becomes just a car. The most advanced cell phone becomes just another device. What changed? It wasn't the object, it was you. Imagine that you are pedaling your bicycle. Your tire goes flat in the middle of the road. What are your thoughts at that moment? It's not about the car you'd like to have. It's not about the next cell phone or the next big achievement. You just think, if only the tire was intact. At that moment you realize that what you value most is something simple, a tire that works. This shows how disconnected we are from the present. We are so focused on what we want to have in the future that we forget to value what we already have today. And when we lose, we finally see the value in it. Now let me ask you another question. What would happen if you stopped running? If you simply decided that what you have today is enough? It seems almost impossible, doesn't it? After all, we were taught to believe that happiness is always in the next step, in the next achievement. But the truth is that this feeling of always being after something else is not natural. It is learned. And if it is learned, it can be unlearned. Here's an idea that might change the way you see the world. Try looking back. Think about something you have today that a year ago seemed impossible to achieve. Maybe it's a job, a relationship, or even something material. Now, ask yourself, do you still feel the same joy about it, or are you already thinking about the next item on the list? The secret to breaking the cycle is simple but powerful: gratitude. Not that superficial gratitude you post on social media with a pretty photo. I'm talking about true silent gratitude that only you can feel. A moment when you stop, take a deep breath and think, I already have so much more than I need. But make no mistake, this change doesn't happen overnight. It requires practice, reflection, and above all, courage to get out of autopilot. Are you willing to try? Are you willing to stop chasing something unattainable and start appreciating what you already have? If so, I want to invite you to take the first step right now. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this. Together we can start to change the way we see life, and more importantly, how we live it. After all, it's not about what you're going to achieve. It's about everything you already have and haven't realized yet. Have you ever stopped to listen to the sounds around you? Not the sounds of cell phone notifications or the noise of traffic, but the sounds of real life. The sound of a bird singing, the wind passing through the trees, the laughter of a child on the street. It seems simple, almost insignificant, but there is a transformative power in slowing down and paying attention to what is really around us. And here's the truth. Most of us have forgotten how to do this. Why is it that even surrounded by everything we need to live fully, we feel so disconnected? The answer lies in the way we prioritize the digital world over the real one. And believe me, we are not the only ones. Studies show that the average adult touches their cell phone about 2,617 times a day. That's right, more than 2,000 touches on a screen every day, while the real world goes unnoticed. Imagine a walk outdoors. You're in a park, the sun shines gently, and there is a peaceful lake next door. You hear the sound of leaves moving in the wind and the distant murmur of a stream. But instead of simply appreciating this, what is the first thought? I need to take a picture. You pick up your phone, adjust the angle, choose a filter, write a caption. And in the end, you spent more time looking at the screen than at the landscape. What happened to our ability to just be at the moment? We are so used to capturing everything to post that we forget how to experience the moment. But what if you put your cell phone aside? Just for a moment, what would you discover? This is the essence of what we are missing. Simple, powerful moments that don't need to be shared to be valuable. Remember the times when you played in the street as a child, or the feeling of being completely immersed in an uninterrupted conversation. These are the moments that really stay with us, and the good news is that there is still time to recover them. Here's a story. A successful executive, owner of $1 million company, was forced to take vacation for the first time in 15 years. He decided to spend a week in an isolated cabin, without cell phone signal, without internet, without any technological distractions. At first he was uneasy. I felt like I was wasting time. But little by little, something changed. He began to hear the sounds of birds, smell the trees, notice small details, like the colors of the sky at dusk. At the end of the week, he made a surprising confession. It was the first time I felt peace in over a decade. And this peace didn't come from achievements or something he bought, but from the absence of distractions. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you were in absolute silence? Not that uncomfortable silence, but a silence that connects you with yourself, that makes you realize what's inside you. Many of us are afraid of being bored. Boredom is seen as something to be avoided, a feeling of uselessness. But in fact, boredom can be one of the greatest gifts of modern life. Why? Because it forces you to stop. When you have nothing to fill the void, you start to connect with what really matters. Great ideas come from boredom. Moments of clarity are born from silence. Remember that generation of grandparents who sat on the porch and watched the world go by? Many of us look at this strangely, but there is wisdom there. They learned to simply exist. And in today's fast-paced world, that's a revolutionary act. Psychology studies show that living in the present moment has a direct impact on our happiness. People who can focus on the now, rather than constantly worrying about the past or future, report significantly higher levels of well-being. And you know what's most interesting? These people don't necessarily have easier lives or fewer problems. They simply chose to live more consciously. You may be thinking, but how do I do that? How can I live more in the present with so much going on around me? The answer is simple but powerful. Start small. Next time you're with friends, put your cell phone in your pocket and leave it there. When you are on a walk, look at the sky, smell the air, listen to the sounds around you. If you find this difficult, here's a tip. Practice every day for a few minutes. Start with 5 minutes of silence without distractions and gradually increase. You will be surprised by the impact of this. But here's the most important thing. All of this is free. Nature, silence, connection with others, none of these costs a penny. And yet it's what we value most when we finally learn to appreciate them. At the end of the day, the question you need to ask yourself is simple. Am I living or just existing? Don't let the answer be something you regret not changing sooner. If this message made sense to you, I want to invite you to take the next step. Subscribe to the channel now, hit the like button and share this video with someone who needs to hear this. Let's together rediscover what really matters, because real life is much bigger than any screen can show. Are you ready to get started? The first step is just a click away. And now that we've reached the end of this journey, it's time to look at everything we've talked about and answer the question that's been on your mind. What do I do with this? You may be feeling inspired, perhaps even uncomfortable, and that's good. This discomfort is a sign that something is moving inside you. It is an alert that the time has come to act, to take back something that has always been yours, but that, at some point, you handed over to the digital world, control of your life. If you've made it this far, you know it's not easy to escape the trap. It's not easy to give up social media, instant validation, or the sense of belonging they bring. But here's something you need to remember. True freedom is never easy. It requires conscious choices, it demands courage, and above all, it requires patience with yourself. Real changes don't happen all at once. They start with small but powerful steps. Think about it. If you decide that, for 10 minutes of your day, you are going to stay away from your cell phone, just observing what is around you, that is already a revolutionary act. Because in those 10 minutes, you'll be doing something most people have forgotten how to do: live the present. The answer to everything we discussed is not in grand gestures or radical changes. It's in the simple things. Put your cell phone away during a meal. Look into the eyes of the people you talk to. Take a walk without music, without notifications, just listening to the sounds around you. It seems insignificant, but these small actions create a profound impact. They are like seeds that, over time, grow and transform the way you live. But perhaps the most important point is this. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. You don't have to abandon all social networks at once or live a completely disconnected life. It's about finding balance, using technology as a tool, not a prison. I want you to imagine your life in 10, 20, 30 years. What will you remember? Will it be the number of likes you received on a post or the moments you lived with the people you love? The truth is that what will remain in your memory are not the stories you watched, but the stories you lived. And here's the most important thing. There's still time. No matter how lost you have been in digital, you can always come back. You can always choose to prioritize what really matters. The gift is a gift, and it is here, waiting for you. Now it's your turn. Take everything you heard here and apply it to your life. Not tomorrow, not next week, start now. Choose a moment in your day to be 100% present. Maybe it's breakfast, a conversation with a friend, or a simple walk, but make it a commitment to yourself. And if this message resonated with you, I want to invite you to do something more. Subscribe to the channel, not because I need it, but because we need more people who are willing to change. Leave your like so that this message reaches more people, and share this video with someone you love, someone who may need to hear exactly this. You chose to dedicate your time to something that can transform your life, and that is already a big step. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, reflecting, and most importantly, for considering the possibility of change. In the next content, we'll dive even deeper into how to build a life with purpose, balance, and true connection. I can't wait to meet you there. Until then, remember, life happens now. Live it fully. See you soon. Thank you for everything.